Okay, going to get a little more complicated on this next example. Example 5, we're going to solve a rational inequality. That's where we have the fraction here. And so the key on this, still going to find our zeros. Going to get 0 on one side. So we're going to minus 3 to both sides to get 0. But now what we'll have is a situation where we need to find the common denominator. So we'll have this minus 3 is less than or equal to 0. To get the common denominator here, we need to multiply by x minus 5 over x minus 5. So that we'll have 2x minus 7 minus 3x, because it's 3 times the x, and then plus 15, all over x minus 5. Let's clean this up. 2 minus 3 is negative x. And negative 7 plus 15 is plus 8 over x minus 5. This is less than or equal to 0. There are 2 zeros here, one from the numerator, one from the denominator, that we need to check on. So we've got 5 and actually positive 8. So let me move these over. So we need to test something to the left of 5, something in between 5 and 8, and something bigger than 8. Let's go with 0, 6, and 10. And we'll test these off of the factored form down here at the bottom. Now the only twist here is that since it's a rational function, and we've got some weird things going on here sometimes with the denominators and numerators, we do need to test 5 and 8 as well. So we need to test everything here. Negative 0 plus 8 we read it up here. If we plug in a 0, negative 0 plus 8 is positive. 0 minus 5 is negative, and that is a negative. And we're trying to be less than 0. So we like this section. Let's test 5 real quick. 5 minus 5 in the denominator. Right down here, 5 minus 5 in the denominator is going to be undefined down here. So we don't want 5. That's not going to help us out. Let's try 6. If we plug in 6, negative 6 plus 8 is a positive. Positive 6 minus 5 is also a positive. And so that's a positive when we divide. That is not less than 0, so don't like that section. And last, not last, we got to test 8 as well. Let's test 8. Negative 8 plus 8 is 0 over 8 minus 5 is a positive, but the key here is 0. And 0 is equal to 0. So we like 8. And then lastly, let's check the 10. Negative 10 plus 8 is negative. Negative 10 minus 5 is negative. That's a positive. Plugged in the wrong thing. 10 minus 5, positive, so it's a negative. We like it. All right. So slightly different answer here, just in terms of the parentheses. We're going to go negative infinity all the way up to 5, but we don't want 5, so parentheses. But then we do like the 8, so bracket to infinity would be our final answer. So just be careful with your parentheses slash brackets here. All right, so be careful here as you're solving 45. All right, if you're ready, here comes the solution. X plus 6 minus 2. X plus 6, we're going to get a common denominator over, x plus 1 would be our common denominator, not x plus 6. Just erase that. This should be an x plus 1 is less than or equal to 0. So we're going to have x minus 2x plus 6 minus 1. And let's clean that up to negative x plus 5 in the numerator and x plus 1 in the denominator. And so our zeros are going to be negative 1 and positive 5. Alright, I'm going to test negative 2, I'm going to test 0, and I'm going to test 10. Seem like easy numbers for me to deal with. Negative x plus 5 over x plus 1. And here we want to be less than 0. So in this situation, let's try negative 2. Negative 2 is positive 2 plus 5 is a positive. Negative 2 plus 1 is a negative, and so that's negative, so we like it. Let's try negative 1. Negative 1 is 1 plus 5. That's positive. Negative 1 plus 0 is undefined. Don't like it. 0 plus 5 is positive. 0 plus 1 is positive. That's positive. We don't want to be positive. When we plug in 5, we're going to have negative 5 plus 5 is 0 over 6, which is positive. So that's a 0. That's not less than 0, so we don't like the 5 either. And let's test 10. Negative 10 plus 5 is negative. 10 plus 1 is positive. Negative, which we like. Final answer, negative infinity to negative 1, as well as 5 to infinity.